Right. We're just going to have a bit of a disclaimer first. Michael is an idiot and has decided that he wants, every time he disagrees with a comment I make, he's going to put up this moustache on his nose. Makes you look older.
And now, every time I agree with the opinion, I'll raise it down. Here's an example.
Spider-Man Homecoming is better than Infinity War.
Here's another example.
Spider-Man is the best thing about the MCU. Hello YouTube, and welcome back to Dr. Dan Alsop. I'm Dan.
I'm Michael.
And it's nearly Christmas. We've put up our tree. It's got a lot of great stuff, including Tom Baker up at the top. You can't see it.
Question for the comments.
Blockbuster. No, we don't do
Is it
that.
weird that we do this?
The answer's yes. Anyway, so I've never really done reviews on my channel in terms of episodes, and this year I tried with Series 11. But it was a bit boring, so I decided instead we'd do a Batman March review of Death-esque style review.
I didn't say that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so it's going to be a look back across the whole of Doctor Who Series 11, because Doctor Who Series 11 came and went with a flash, didn't it?
Well, yeah, because if it was like other series, then we'd still have another 2 episodes.
Yeah, but it even then it felt very quick.
Yeah, if you think about it, if we had 12 episodes and also a Christmas special, because there was still going to be a Christmas special when they decided to do 10 episodes, Doctor Who would have ended the Sunday 2 days before Christmas. So it'd be like, finale with Tim Shaw! Or how...
Spoilers. Oh, we'll come on to that in a minute.
And 2 days later, the New Year's special. Hopefully with the Daleks.
Anyway, we'll come on to that. But first, we need to begin with episode 1. So episode 1 begins, and we don't have a title sequence for episode 1.
No, I think that's good.
So, what did you make of them not having a title sequence?
I didn't notice it, because they actually had some of the music in, because I thought it was just music. Oh, music for when the Doctor crashes into the train, and it goes down, 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 and I didn't show any resemblance to the William Hartnell theme, and it was only recently when I was rewatching it that I realised they were actually using the actual theme tune.
Anyway, so episode 1, we begin with the companions rather than the Doctor.
That was interesting. That's actually happening while the 12th Doctor is giving that big speech about don't tell anyone your name except for children. They will know.
But let's forget about that. Anyway, so
weird, because the Doctor Falls is happening in the same day as the same day for the Doctor as episode 1 of Series 11.
Anyway, so we're immediately introduced to the new companions. What do you make of them? Graham first. What do you make of Graham?
Well, yeah, if we're in order. Wait, no, so Graham, he's actually an interesting character, because he's, in episode 1, he's just trying to have a normal life, in a way. It's like, if he hears anything that isn't quite understandable, he's all like, no, that can't be right, no. But he's looking out for Ryan, which I really liked about.
What do you think of Ryan? Because he very much is the centre companion.
Yeah. Well, for the first few episodes, I thought it kind of went away from him ever since Kablam.
Not really, because the penultimate episode was about Grace, but although that was more about Graham's relationship with...
Yeah, because it was all like, leave Ryan.
I don't know, but anyway, we're jumping forward. Anyway, so, what about Yaz? What do you make of Yaz?
I like...
She's the most uninteresting out of the 3.
But I like the premise for her.
I feel like Series 12 could be where we get more of her.
But yeah, have to wait even longer.
No, we'll come on to that. Anyway, so the plot of episode 1 is essentially we've got a Stenza creature called Tim Shaw, or Tim Shaw as the Doctor calls him. And his plan is a fairly basic run-of-the-mill alien story, which we've seen in stuff like Merlin before. where they have to go on a quest to find something to prove they're worthy. And in his case, he's got to bring back the prize of a human.
Even though he's done that.
That is a pretty good premise.
Yeah, it's although I would have had that whole plot that the Doctor was originally thinking of two alien species at war using the Earth as a battleground, because that would have sounded amazing.
Yeah, but this episode really
it was a good
much more, it was much more focused on the Doctor and the companions. What do you think of the new Doctor?
I was
Jodie Whittaker, the first female to play the Doctor. What did you
to
make
begin
of
with.
her?
I was worried, and that's not me being sexist. It's
Because of Missy?
Yeah, and it's a big stage for Doctor Who.
Yeah, I think it works.
Yeah.
I was a bit unsure of Jodie for the first few episodes because it felt the first few episodes she maybe hadn't found her feet.
Well, it was the most recent time we heard her mention about "I'm still finding out who I am" was the Spider episode.
Yeah, but generally, it took me a while to understand her character. But essentially, the way I've taken it is, at the end of Twice Upon a Time, the 12th Doctor's in such a terrible state, as in all his friends are dead, and he effectively doesn't want to regenerate. He'd rather just commit suicide. So I've taken it as the Jodie Whittaker's Doctor. She just wants to
Have a fresh.
It's a fresh start for the Doctor, I think, and I think the show needs that. And
Needs a fresh aspect ratio.
and I think they're basically using the character of the Doctor to represent the show, which I think works. So yeah, so it takes a few episodes for her to get into it, but
I actually got used to it.
generally I really enjoyed it.
A couple of weeks. By the time we got the first proper trailer, like I hadn't got used to it when we had that weird teaser of like stuff rushing past the companions. That was a bit weird, but and then the Doctor just suddenly fading into existence.
Yeah. Anyway,
Like,
back onto the episodes.
Um,
So, Woman Who Fell to Earth, it got solved fairly quickly, as that episode was very much about introducing the Doctor and companions. But
then it helped with the finale, which we'll mention later.
what did you make of episode 1 in general?
I think it's a good. It's not the best,
Yeah, I'd say it's one of the weaker episodes
but
of the series.
it's a good one to start off. It's a good Doctor opener.
It's a good introduction to the show, really.
Yeah, and it's you don't need to have watched any other episodes, which was a problem with Stephen Moffat's era. You'd need to watch a different episode. You need to watch a specific episode, series 6, episode 2. Don't care which episode that is, but still.
Yeah.
But then this one is is finding out who the companions are before the Doctor, and then they explain everything pretty easily without explaining everything about the Doctor, leaving room for future episodes.
Yeah. I felt it should have been a two-parter. I'm going to say that for every single episode, because
No, there was one episode which you thought actually worked.
episode 3 maybe, well, we'll get onto that, but I think it should have been a two-parter, and maybe we could have had episode 1 focusing on the characters, episode 2 a bit more on Tim Shaw.
Or Tim Shah. I searched up how you pronounce his
Oh,
name.
did you? Okay, but generally, I did enjoy episode 1 because I think my reaction to it was one of the best reactions of the series, and my opinion has just got a bit less on rewatches. But that might be because it's such a breath of fresh air. Because while some of the episodes may not be up to scratch all the time, it's just the general feel of the show is a lot better than when Moffat was at the helm.
One good thing is that once I just wanted to watch that one scene, which felt rather Stephen Moffat-y in a way, but in a new way, when the Doctor was running on the crane and jumped off. In that scene when she's trying to save
that
that
was
person. I went on iPlayer to just watch that one scene, and then I was like, actually, I'll just watch that opening as well. I don't care anymore. I'm watching the whole thing.
Yeah, well, episode 2, and then episode 1 ends on a cliffhanger.
Yeah, space.
Yeah, and that ending was brilliant, where the Doctor's in space.
All of the expressions, the Doctor's like, Graham's like,
Yaz
is like, and Ryan's just like,
Yeah, and then we get that sting.
damn.
Damn! And I love the new music.
Mid-late.
Sagan Akinola, is that how you pronounce his name?
I don't know, but mid-late.
It was great. That exit is only in episode 1. And it leads straight on into the Ghost Monument, where they are going on a race to find the TARDIS. What did you make of the Ghost Monument?
I like the plot, and you might disagree with me here, but sadly you don't have the moustache. but I don't know why, but it's the one I forget always. Like, episode 1, Woman Who Fell to Earth. Episode 2, oh yes, Ghost Monument. It's a good premise. I just think, who was the villain really? Was it that projection thing? Because if it is, I feel like...
It was one of the 2 races.
I think we could have had more.
Yeah, that one should have also been a 2-parter. But generally,
should have
I
had
don't
more of
think...
those,
not every story
robots.
needs a villain. Like,
I know,
mean,
but, like,
Series
since-
11 has had a problem with its villains. That's
Well,
been its big
especially the
problem.
first half.
Yeah.
They've been getting better for the second half.
But generally, the problem's been with the villains. But episode 2 was one where it maybe didn't need a villain. Because the idea of a race to the TARDIS, I like that anyway. And I really enjoyed it, because I like the idea of it being, you're going to have a race, but there's going to be obstacles in the way.
I thought, when we found out the title, I thought it was going to be like a palace, which they had to go through, which the villains were ghosts. I actually thought it was going to be that. But then it's like, when the Doctor was like, show me the monument, and like, please be this, please be this, I was starting to think it was the TARDIS. And then it showed that projection of the TARDIS. Even though we had seen the design, it looked so good to see, like, the design.
The outside
in
is
the episode.
brilliant. The inside, not so much.
It's okay.
The outside I really like, because
It's really
it feels
classic.
McGann-esque.
No, there were some shots which were just amazing. Like in episode 4, when after the tea at Yaz, and they walk off, the shots just looks amazing.
Yeah, then the inside I didn't particularly like.
I don't
do you reckon
like
it's
that.
one of the, do you reckon, in your opinion, do you reckon it's one of the weaker ones?
Well, think about the weaker ones are the modern ones, because nothing can beat the round ones.
Yeah.
Even the War Doctors with the 10th Doctor console.
Yeah, it does look better.
It looks amazing. But basically, so let's just go through the modern Who ones. 10th Doctor and Christopher Eccleston's. Christopher Eccleston's, I know they're the same design, but his is better because it's
well,
green.
that's another video.
Okay.
Anyway,
Yeah.
so Ghost Monument, overall thoughts on it?
It's good. It's forgettable in my opinion.
I disagree. I really enjoyed the Ghost Monument. I really enjoyed Ghost Monument.
Yeah, I enjoyed
I
it.
think it's a lot more exciting than episode 1, in my opinion.
Yeah,
While episode 1 had the hype of it being
Exciting?
new era. There's a lot more going on.
yeah. I need to rewatch it because I just need to. I can remember the parts of it when I think hard enough, but just when I think of the whole series, that's the least memorable.
Fair enough. And then we go on to episode 3, which was Rosa. Which was the first proper pure historical story since... When would you say? We've had historical stories, but where they've gone into a famous part of history.
Like,
It's not really happened since the classics, has it?
well, no, like they've done things set in the past, but that's different.
So, Rosa was written by Mallory Blackman and Chris Chibnall. And
I've read a couple of her books, and when they said that Mallory Blackman was going to be doing a Doctor Who episode, I'd read some of her books, and I was like, yes, because she, if you remember this book that they did, either as one big book or 11 separate books of different adventures to mark 50 years.
actually, you do one of them.
She wrote the 7th Doctor one.
Oh, okay, I need to read that then.
You've got them in separate books, including 12th Doctor.
Do I?
Yes, I've got one big book which
Anyway,
looks amazing.
Back on the episode. So, it's basically the Doctor and the companions arrive in Montgomery.
Yeah, Montgomery.
In 19...
Alabama.
Yeah, Alabama. I think that's how you pronounce it. It's 1955.
Or it's the time of Rosa Parks.
And
Sorry if we get that wrong.
a lot of people have been saying that this series has been very preachy.
Preachy, what was that?
As in saying, this is this, this is this, this is this. And like trying to teach them. Doctor
Well,
Who's
that
always-
was what one reason
originally
why
Doctor
they...
Who was meant to be educational.
Yeah,
so.
and that's a good thing because I'll explain about that later.
But Rosa, what did you make of it?
It's one good thing with this series is that afterwards, weren't we all like, nothing can beat this episode. This is going to be the best episode of the series, and then we kept saying that with every episode.
Yeah, right, you're jumping ahead. Anyway, so yeah, Rosa was. It was the one which got people talking.
Yeah, it was really popular, but end credits.
Yeah, we're not talking about the music. That's a topic for another video.
Yeah, it's a good plot. I remember one thing you said recently was that it was also an episode that didn't necessarily need a villain, but like they know what's going to happen, but it's not going right, so they need to lead it on course because they know it should happen.
That was so tragic when Graham realises he's got to be the one who gets in.
No, it's not that he's instead of it. He was always the one that stood up.
Well, he's got to be the one who stands up, and it's so tragic. And
because otherwise, the universe would be in jeopardy for racism.
Yeah, but
no, the villain
was weak.
The villain
just to be
was
racist.
The villain was a racist.
That was pretty much his only motivation.
He was like, he said to Ryan, "We don't want people having power such as your kind."
Yeah. But I think that was one of the few episodes which could have worked as a one-parter, because it wasn't just good Doctor Who, it was good television. And there have been a lot of people...
People could just sit down and watch it.
There have been a lot of people which have really learned something from that episode, which is brilliant, of how that people are learning. Learning's good. So, that episode... Bear in mind, I've only watched each episode at most twice. I'm going to do a complete rewatch of the entire series at some point.
Yeah.
Which is a good thing, it shows I've enjoyed it.
Like, imagine if... Like, that's not happening with every season. Imagine trying to watch season 9 all over again.
Series 9, season 9's pretty good.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I keep saying seasons now.
Season 9 is good. It's got the Sea Devils in it.
I've not actually seen the Sea Devils.
Sea Devils is brilliant.
Another video.
Anyway, yeah.
So episode 4 was the spider.
I don't know. We need to round up on Rosa. What were your overall thoughts on Rosa?
It's all of these has been a good plot.
It's a great premise.
It's really...
And story. I think it's executed really well.
Tom Baker's dead.
Tom. We'll sort that out in a bit.
I'm just gonna put him there.
So.
It's a really nice and it's the type of story. The ending is really nice and emotional.
Yeah.
It makes you feel really sorry for
him. And it sort of reminds me of Doctor Who, of him going into actual parts of history and becoming part of it.
And Graham's reaction.
And the best thing is, though, that it doesn't undermine the character of Rosa Parks. Like, if we'd had the Doctor or someone influencing Rosa to do it, it's like, you need to stand up for your rights, it'd been... Oh.
Stand up, stand up, stand up!
But you know what I mean? It's
the worry that I've had with Doctor Who, that you can just make an episode and...
say, oh, the Doctor caused all of it.
Like, Moses and the parting of the waves. If they then said, oh, it was actually the Doctor putting 2 versions of the sonic screwdriver, magnetising the sea apart.
What are you on about?
Historical things that just add in, oh, by the way, that was because of the Doctor. That's one problem
basically,
I really have.
Doctor... They did it Rosa Parks justice, and it made people aware of it. So yeah, Rosa Parks episode. Rosa was a stonking good episode. And then we got on to Arachnids in the UK.
I really wanted it to be the 8 legs.
I'm glad it wasn't, but it was much so like the 8 legs. This was the first story where I felt slightly let down by. It was good, and I reckon in hindsight it's better than Woman Who Fell to Earth.
I was watching with some other people, and their reaction afterwards was, he's coming back for the villain. The villain is just like, he's coming back.
Oh, I had a friend.
He wants to be the new president. He doesn't like Trump. Don't say that name!
This is a story that really needed to be a 2-parter, more than the others.
Yeah, there was... I like...
It's just... It needed to be a 2-parter because there's so much stuff they wanted to cover. And really, they've got 2 seasons worth of stories in this series.
No, episode 4 was the terrifying episode.
That
anyway,
could have been the series
showing the spookiness, showing people with their faces melted together, covered in cobwebs. That's terrifying. It's good, but terrifying.
So yeah, so I enjoyed it. Arachnids in the UK, we've got
that's what it's called.
spiders, and they're pretty scary. It's gotta be said. I don't really get scared by Doctor Who anymore, but
I used to have this fear, especially in series 10. I'm not strange for this. Like, I'd always go to bed thinking, hang on, what if it's there?
anyway, but yeah, Arachnids in the UK, we meet Yaz's family, and I still don't care for them. In all honesty, I don't know anything about them.
We know.
It's very obvious that this series is focused on Graham and Ryan, and I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt if that means for series 12 we're going to get more focus on Yaz.
But we did have an episode focused on Yaz.
Yeah, we did, but it was very clear that the main set was a slot.
What was episode 6? No, episode 5.
Well, Final Thoughts on Arachnids in the UK.
It's the thing with all of these. Good plots, but
It's a good plot, needed more substance.
yeah. It's good when the only complaint is we want more.
No.
Like, so it can be bad, but it can be good. It can be bad.
Well, it
saying-
shows we were invested enough to want it to have more in it.
Like, we didn't say that with Hellbent. Even if they didn't show as much, we wouldn't say we want more, would we?
No, but I guess Hellbent should have been longer as well. That could have been massive.
But still, if you know what I mean.
But,
you wouldn't.
Yeah,
Now
Arachnids
you
in the
know
UK
it.
just could have been more. Episode 5 was Saranga Conundrum. This is one I'd say is the weakest of the series.
Yeah. I like the Pating.
The Pating was cute, but was that
It's
point?
probably going to be like a plushy one, though.
This is the episode where I just came out a bit bored by.
Like, there were some plots that just
You
came-
always have a duff episode in the series, and this probably was it, even though I still liked the premise.
I like the whole thing of a creature that eats energy and is tearing down a ship
In
from
all
the
honesty, this is
inside.
the episode I can't really remember much about.
Oh, there was plot about a woman
Good start.
and a man who's giving birth to a boy because it's gross for a boy to give birth to a girl.
This is the
and
episode.
a girl to give birth to a boy.
This is the episode where I can't remember a thing that happened, really.
Dr. Sonic.
But that sort of sums up the episode. I remember enjoying it and thinking it's alright, but it wasn't great.
I remember.
This is the weakest in the series, do you think?
Yeah, it's just not memorable.
Yeah, I can't remember a thing about it. So, moving on. So that's all we've got to say. I'm sorry, but that's all I've got to say on that episode.
Go on to iPlayer, write
We
down
should
in
have
the
watched this
comments what you thought of this episode because we
Yeah,
really need
rewatch
to know.
it. Yeah, because I can't remember a thing.
Put down your ratings.
Then we get Demons of Punjab. We get another historical.
I
And
loved
this
it.
was this is the first episode in the series, which I thought was genuinely brilliant.
No, this was the start of. It's going to be the best episode
It
of the
was
series.
great. It was a historical story, and while Rosa was special as a historical, you can't do exactly
That
the same
That
formula.
feels,
That feels like a one-off
after seeing
special.
After seeing the most recent episode, when thinking about, like you said, how the series has gone in a flash, it has. But then thinking about Rosa, that feels like ages ago, doesn't it?
Yeah. But Demons of Punjab was brilliant. It sort of was Rosa, but slightly better.
Oh! Oh, we can bring this in.
Yeah, it sort of was Rosa, but better.
I liked that. There was always that whole thing weird with the brother, but I just
Blurry.
there was always the suspiciousness of the brother, but sometimes the thing we had problem with this series up to this point was that we needed to find out who the villains were early on, and it made it feel like it was the demons, and we knew that there was something suspicious with
I
the
forgot
brother.
about the demons. I actually completely forgot about them. They were great.
And
Needed more.
I
of
think
them.
it came at the right time because it was
Should have been a two-parter.
It was actually Remembrance Day and Remembrance Sunday,
Yeah.
and it's all about remembering the dead.
That episode was very good.
No, it's just it made it seem like the demons were the villains, and I remember when we were like, "We're not the villains." I looked at you, and you were just like, "What? No, what?" Because I remember there was an episode once, I can't remember which one, where there was a villain, and then it turned out they weren't the villain, and it was Twice Upon a Time. It made it seem like they were the villain, but then there was no villain. But then you look like,
we still got a villain out of this.
Is there still going to be this? Like, we knew there was
I was worried. Yeah, I was sat there thinking, they're not going to do that terrible Christmas special again. Where's David Bradley?
You may be a David Bradley, but I am the...
David Bradley. I am the sexist doctor.
David Brandy. No, but, like, and then there was always a suspiciousness for the brother, and then suddenly, it's just that I knew something horrible was going to happen to Yaz's grandma's fiance. It's just, I thought he was going to be the villain as well as the demons, when it turned out the demons weren't the villains, but I was like, no, he's actually not. It's actually going to be something traumatizing.
I mean, they changed the theme again, which annoys me.
But at least it was a variant of the Doctor Who theme.
It's a shame because we've got the best Doctor Who theme in years.
Because the other one was
and
like,
they keep changing it.
The other was just a song.
I can't remember the lyrics.
But then this one was just like a sad version of the Doctor Who thing going. Woo.
Dun 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 dun. I was doing Nick Loss.
Yeah, but then
it was a good story.
Yeah.
Demons Punjab was great. And I thought, well, that's probably going to be the best of the series.
At the end of this video, are we going to give the ratings for all of the episodes?
No, we're not going to do ratings.
Okay.
My ratings change for episodes on a daily basis.
Yeah.
And that leads on to Kablam!
I was very worried because
it was like, oh, we got a Fez!
With an exclamation mark, and it was like, oh, I must have ordered this a while ago. It's a Fez!
Oh!
And the trailer, the next time trailer from Demons of the Punjab, I was worried from the beginning in a way because I don't know why, it just had that feeling of it's going to be another Saranga conundrum.
Instead, it was flipping brilliant.
And it's another one of those things where you think you know the villain, but then suddenly it's not the villain. And there's another villain.
I was actually convinced by the villain of Kablam.
Oh, you thought he was him?
I was convinced by him.
I
thought he was good as a villain.
I didn't think it was him.
I didn't think it was him, but I was convinced.
We need to have a twirly
Kablam felt very McCoy-esque.
I am twirly.
I decided, a lot of people made references to Matt Smith, so I think it's more like Sylvester McCoy. It reminded me of, say, not a specific episode, but like the style of it felt very McCoy-esque, which I'm not complaining about. I love McCoy.
I like that scene of them on the conveyor.
Yeah, Jodie Whittaker's Doctor got into her full shine in that one when Graham had that lecture about don't drink the cleaning water or something, which was so obviously meant for the Doctor.
I can't remember that.
And also, do not sit on the conveyor belts. Oh
yeah.
Jodie's Doctor at this point came into her own and was brilliant. Oh, brilliant.
Yeah, I thought that was going to be a catchphrase, but it seems...
Oh, brilliant.
It feels like fam is now.
No, let's forget that.
It's so weird because I go around school and suddenly everyone's like, fam.
Fam, 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 hoi, 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 hoi. Ooh.
No, yeah, they say like fam chai.
Anyway.
Yeah,
So, Kablam was brilliant. I thought I had a convincing story, and I was invested in it. It felt like a proper mystery.
I've not actually used this yet.
And it was sad with that character that died.
Oh,
that girl.
No, I felt sorry for her when she was like, I've only had one parcel from Kablam in my life. And then suddenly she thinks, hang on, I've got a new parcel, presses the bubble wrap and explodes.
That was great. Firstly, bubble wrap monster, like the Tom Baker eras.
I can just imagine a clip with the old aspect ratio of the third Doctor wrapped up in bubble wrap, like...
More Tom Baker.
No, like, bubble wrap.
It's in the Five Doctors.
Him going,
it's in the Five Doctors when the second Doctor and Brigadier meet Jamie and Zoe's got this like really nice blue outfit and there's just bubble wrap over the top.
No, but like, you know that one of...
Seriously, Michael, have you seen that?
Yeah, you show me. But basically, you know that one that shot where the nesting consciousness is like strangling the Doctor?
Oh, yeah.
Imagine, replace the nesting consciousness with bubble wrap. And it's just like...
They took something, an everyday object, and this was one of the times of terrifying because literally everyone
pops bubble wrap.
Like, that's just a thing everyone does.
No, but like, I thought, surely not everyone's going to press it. Hang on. I press it.
Everyone
I
presses
jump
bubble.
on it.
Like, it's one of those things where it's not a case of, oh, that's not a convincing plan. What if some people just don't press it? Everyone presses bubble wrap.
But did you realise that, you know, when they got the password the first time and Ryan was like, oh, bubble wrap, he was actually popping it.
Touched exploded.
No, I thought of making a sketch video where, like, at the
It's
end,
because
Graham
I
was
hadn't
looking at
activated
it.
it, yeah.
Graham was looking at it and I was like, are you sure you want to press that? And I thought of just finding a, yes, presses it, and then just get the TARDIS and just blow it up.
No, that proceeded in the last episode.
Yeah, and then shows the TARDIS flying and then that torpedo.
We're dragging on a bit. Yeah, so Kablam was absolutely brilliant. Loved it. I thought he couldn't top it.
I was very worried. Yeah, that's the thing with this series. You
Should have been a
can't top
two-parter.
it.
Should have been a two-parter, but so should every story in the show's history. Effectively, it should be like most of Classic Who's 4 parts.
Oh, wait, yeah.
You disagree with most of Classic Who's 4
No.
parts. What do you think it is? A flippin' conspiracy?
Crown of the Time Lord!
Is not most Doctor Who.
Could be.
It's no time of extended.
I used to
edition.
think that if there was like 6 different, like if there was a 1-part, a 2-part, a 3-part, 1 4-part, 1 5-part, but 2 6-parts, then most of them are 6 parts. That's what I used to think. Like if there's different type of parts, but all of them only happens once, and then there's one that happens twice, then that's the most.
It's mostly 6.
No, but like if it was like
It's most
there was
common.
1 part, there was 1 2-parts, there was 1 3-part, there was 1 4-part, there was 1 5-part, but there were 2 episodes that were 6 parts. Then the series is mostly 6 parts.
Generally, yeah.
No, if that was the thing, that's what I thought.
Well, yeah, that is a thing. Anyway, so Kablam was great.
Kablam!
And then we go on. So I thought we can't top Kablam. That was good. I was at this point where I thought Series 11 is probably better than Series 10.
It's just I had that looming fear of, what if there's a really bad episode?
It wasn't the Witchfinders. Witchfinders was brilliant.
I know, that was amazing. It's just that one. I thought it was going
James
to be a
the First was
two-parter,
fun.
even though they said it.
Should have been a two-parter.
The next episode's called It Takes You Away. I'll explain why I thought it was a two-parter in a minute.
Go on.
But,
Got one.
but basically, you know, the episodes seemed to be dragging on, in a way. Not in a bad way, but like, I'd go, wait, check the time, Karen. We've probably only got like 2 minutes left. And there's like, no, still got, like, we're only halfway through. And we're like, what? But when the woman, who I thought was very suspicious to begin
Very
midway
suspicious.
through,
Very suspicious indeed.
but basically, when it turned out she was the villain, I got freaked out.
No, whoa.
Her skin was all her skin was
Yeah.
bubbling.
That-
But basically,
That was a convincing villain.
when she used that energy force on all of them, and then it went black, I was like, hang on, is that the end? Because it's called It Takes You Away. Has it taken James the First away for episode 9?
Should have.
Yeah,
It should have been.
I was very...
Well, despite that bit, Witchfinders compared to the rest of the series, what do you think?
I think it's the best one.
I thought it was my favourite one of the series. Like, it will probably swap around with Kablam a couple of times.
Blam.
Kablam.
Make a remix.
Witchfinders was great. It's a pure
but the-
historical. Can we just have more pure historicals?
The thing
'Cause
I said about-
Chibnall's proven it works.
Alpha Rosa, when I said I'd explain later on the series of how they work, is this weird that the very day afterwards, the teacher suddenly said, now I know you've not prepared for this, because I've not shown anything to do with this so far until today, but today we're starting to learn about James the First and witch hunts. And I was like, what? We just watched that episode yesterday! And I'm just like, what? But then the person behind me goes, burn the witch! And just like, Michael, burn the witch! Michael, James the First, burn the witch! And I just turn around and I go,
I think
I know.
also the Witchfinders provide the best line of the series. We need help. Can you help us? Of course. I know everything about this village. And I know everything about Satan.
he's the villain! No, I when we first saw James the First and he had that bird mask, I was like, I think that's James the First, and you were like, no, that's probably the villain.
Yeah, Witchfinders was good. It was my favourite one. And it seemed like Series 11 was on a high. Shame that the last 2 episodes were a bit of a letdown.
And he was still okay.
They were good, but... So yeah, you've got It Takes You Away. Well, that's one of the ones... That's got to be the last appearance of Grace.
I think it's because the next episode they get over Grace in a way.
Like, they're always going to be sad that she's dead, but it's sort of like finally coming to terms with it.
Well, this one.
That sounds really harsh, but you know what I mean.
The whole episode 4 ended with the whole Graham wanted to continue because he's always going to mourn Grace, but staying at home just makes it a lot harder.
But I thought it takes you away.
It was really emotional to see.
I enjoyed it, bits of it.
It was upsetting to see Graham just like, either I stay here and my universe dies and Ryan dies, someone who's living, or I stay, or I leave.
The episode brought up the best tweet ever. Basically, a lot of people have been saying that this series has been very too PC, whatever. I disagree. I don't think it. And if it has been PC in any way, I've enjoyed the series. But someone was complaining about this episode, saying it's terrible. It's the worst thing ever. Which is their opinion. They're allowed to have that opinion. And they were going, it's terrible. It's the worst thing ever. And this frog just. What are they doing using this frog at the end of it? This is proof that the show's become too politically correct.
How?
And Dimmy Looming, in all her wisdom, tweeted, "What's politically correct about a frog?" With that is my favourite tweet of all time.
The one I like was, which you were just going around Twitter or Facebook, and it was like, why is it? It showed the picture of the Doctor, and it's like, why is there a frog in here? And it shows a chair with Kermit the Frog on.
It's time to play the music. It's time to light the lights. It's time to meet the Muppets on the Muppet Show tonight. So it takes you over.
I like that.
I guess it was a bit of a letdown.
I got creeped out by those.
The girl playing the
moths.
deaf actress.
Blind.
The actress playing the blind girl. She actually is blind.
Is the actor?
Yeah. She was brilliant. She was the best bit of that episode, you reckon? She was absolutely brilliant.
That's a shame because she won't be able to see the episode.
That episode should have been a two-parter. But so should every episode. And... yeah, why am I leaning down now?
Because otherwise you can't.
Okay, so on to the finale! Finale! So this series has been a great book. One of the trailers...
In the trailer ended with, like, a woman's scream, which... I thought I thought that it was going to be someone else. But then to begin with I thought it was going to be Grace, but then I was like, they're not bringing back Grace again.
They came to terms with her for the previous episode.
Well,
I thought it was always going to be Tim Shaw.
Yeah, you said Tim Shaw.
I mean, everyone posted their suggestions. I had 2 suggestions for who it could have been. Either Chris Marshall as the Valiard. Or Adric. Come on, Chris Marshall needs to play the Valiard at some point. Just in spite. The fact that he was the Doctor for so long in so many people's hearts.
Sorry.
Anyway, so...
No, it must be so upsetting for him because he couldn't reveal
I called it was Tim Shaw. I think most people did. And Tim Shaw was the best bit of that episode. But I felt this episode was just a bit of a letdown. This episode was a bit of a letdown because it could have just been so much more, I reckon. And I think Tim Shaw needs one more, maybe even 2 more appearances.
We had that whole thing hand on there. I was so scared for Graham. Is that weird?
No. You're meant to be, but I'm sure they've done a good job with characters.
Because it was like when his hand went all like white for Graham and he's like going closer. No, the reason why I think this was also definitely the one where they came to terms is like he's no longer angry at Tim Shaw.
Well, he is, but he's
less.
a bigger man.
Yeah.
He's not less angry, but he's able to hold his anger.
And then he goes like, in your stasis, remember one name, Grace. But it's kind of hard in stasis because you just like suddenly wake up out of stasis like, oh, well, that wasn't long. It'd be like this.
Like Red Dwarf.
No, Tim Shaw. He's like there. Everything's going misty.
Everyone's dead,
He puts
Tim.
his hand on, then takes it off. And it's all dusty and he's like, Tim Shaw, confused. Opens the door. Suddenly he's in a space.
Everywhere.
He's in a space park, and everyone's like, oh, he's awoken! Yay! And he's like,
No.
where is Tim Shaw?
No, I was thinking more of a Red Dwarf scenario. Everyone's dead, Tim. But anyway, so The finale was just slightly disappointing, I thought. Good guest cast, great character stuff. Tim Shaw's the best bit of that episode, and he does nothing!
Well, he is.
Frustrates me so
He's
much!
plugged into a wall.
Should have been a three-parter.
He is plugged into
Should have been a
wall.
three-parter. Should have been a three-parter! It should have been a three-parter. So anyway, we've been going on a bit. So generally, what did you make of the finale? In like one sentence. So you liked it. I liked it. I enjoyed it. That's the thing. I didn't come up with something that was terrible. That was truly awful writing. I think Christian must be arrested. Christian must be arrested for this.
Someone really thinks
That guy El Patron. Oh,
Apparently, I also saw one person who was like, "I'm all up for opinions. Just my opinion is the right one."
Sit up.
And that just like breaks all laws of opinions.
Yeah. But I thought
If there's a right
this episode
opinion.
could have just been more.
More.
Oh, but generally, so now, overall, what have you made of the series? Jodie Whittaker, what have you made of her in her first series? I've really enjoyed her. I think.
I was worried.
Hey, controversial opinion time. She's better than Tennant, Eccleston, and Smith.
Hear me out. My favourite Doctor is Smith.
Wrong. No,
Opinions.
You're an Aldo opinion, but I think she's. There's, like, I've put Peter Capaldi ahead of her in terms of the modern Doctors, but I've really enjoyed her,
Yeah.
and I want more. New Year special looks pretty good. Got the Daleks. We will review that episode. Well, we say it's got Daleks.
We think it's
probably
got
got Daleks. It'd be funny if it isn't.
No.
There's the DNA. I've just had a thought.
Cyberman.
No, it's the DNA of the most dangerous creature alive, buried under the earth for centuries.
Sleazy! No.
Adric? come on, it's a thing! Adric's the villain!
Does it have a name?
Adric? When she turns into Peter Davison, she goes,
No,
Adric?
it's still Jodie Whittaker's. Just she's now got Peter Davison's voice.
Adric? And then it's going, right, get off this planet right now, Adric. Shut up, Adric.
No. So it's just Jodie Whittaker, but every now and then her face suddenly transforms into Peter Davison and just goes, Adric?
And then she starts breathing heavily.
No, suddenly she's like, I will protect
think we need
this
to wrap
New
this up.
Year's Day
So,
forever, and then her hair just goes,
Series 11, what have you made of it?
Adric? No, it's good.
Do you reckon it's the best of the modern era?
Well, it's the only one with...
No terrible episodes.
This is the thing.
I want more adventurous episodes in Series 12. There's a few things, I reckon this is another video we'll make in the new year, but Series 12, there's a lot of things Series 12 can learn from Series 11, but generally as a start for the Chibnall era, I'm happy. So, thanks for watching our review. And our next review will be Doctor Who,
the review of life.
It'll be Resolution, and then I reckon we should do a couple more discussion videos about Doctor Who. We'll see you there.
Subscribe
Bye.
to...